Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. On tonight's verses, we have Bulleit Rye coming in at a 46.5% ABV, at least 10 years old, versus Bulleit Rye coming in at a 46% ABV, at least 12 years old. So, 2024 has been kind of an interesting year for Bulleit. I'll give them credit. They're doing a lot of new releases. More recently, they've released the 12-year-old version of their rye, which I was a big fan of. And then they re-released their 10-year version of their rye, which I didn't know existed until a little bit ago. I knew it did a few years ago, but I didn't know they were bringing it back out here in 2024. The cool thing is these are both coming from MGP. It's being distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. That's the only place you can get 95.5 rye as far as I know. And they're almost identical proof points, which is only 0.5% more, which is really interesting on why they kept it at that proof point. But nonetheless, my question here is, what does 2 years more give to this rye whiskey? Let's find out today. So, as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in individual reviews over either of these bottles or some other things from Bulleit, links to those videos will be up above and down below. Bulleit's, one of the most well-known brands, I feel like. It's right up there with Jack Daniel's, Jim Beam, and it's because their bourbon and rye are not only accessible pricing, but their bottle shapes are very recognizable. But I fell in love with this 12-year-old rye, and being that this is harder to find in the market right now because it was such a great buy, I don't know if they're going to keep releasing this one, but if you can get it already, I'll tell you, this is always worth a grab. Color-wise, they're basically identical. I don't think I could tell you if I mix them up if there's any color difference, which is really interesting being that this is 2 more years older. But really, both got a golden brown color to them, a little dark amber going on. Yeah, they're both very, very similar. Alrighty, let's start on notes for the 10-year version. Oh, I love Indiana rye now. You talked to me last year at this time, I would have been like, it's okay. But I went down the rabbit hole for rye. It's been nonstop for me. Like, you're getting that spicy, herbal, medicinal, that floral bit of rye, a little bit of rye bread, sweet characteristics, like a sweet green apple for me. A little bit of oakiness in there. The char levels are showing up. A little caramel, vanilla glaze going in there as well. This does have a bit of ABV on it. I think I remember in my original review, I kind of was pulling out some ABV notes. So it's got a little bit of bite on that. Besides it, it's got a gorgeous, well-rounded body on the nose. No off notes, nothing harsh, but that little tinge of alcohol. But overall, that is a beautifully done rye whiskey. The spiciness is there, the wood sugars are showing up, the char levels are phenomenal. It's just an approachable, if you like Indiana rye, this is right up home alley. Alrighty, let's go for notes on the 12-year. And right away, they're darn close, but my initial thoughts were right in my review. I did this. It's a little more rich, a little darker, a little more refined. You're getting a little bit darker tea notes. You're getting a little bit darker, richer oakiness going on. The chariness from the barrel and the herbal medicinal is a little deeper and richer as well. You're still getting that kind of rye grain bread in there. This one teeters closer with some sweeter notes, bringing almost like a finished element to it. Like if this was put into a rum barrel for 30 days, I wouldn't disagree with you because there's just an extra layer of sweetness in here. I love the caramel layers, that vanilla sweetness. And as soon as you go back here, you can definitely tell on the nose, there is a little bit, it's just not as complex with those extra 2 years. It's just got a little more liveliness going on. It's a little lighter in those oaky notes, which is expected. But as soon as you go back here, this is rich and dark and heavy. beautiful on the nose. Both of them are actually really great examples of Indiana rye. I'm not going to criticize that. But on the nose, you can definitely tell that bit of difference that 2 years did. Well, let's go for taste on the 10-year version. And that's just a good sip. It's spicy, it's herbal, medicinal, a little bit of clove and cinnamon in there. The charriness from the cask showing up. Beautiful oakiness, a little bit of caramel sweetness in there, vanilla drizzle going on, the floralness as well. Like, that is a good example of a rye whiskey. I will tell you that much. It's soft, it's spicy, and yet it's approachable in that rye category still. It doesn't go over in any of those notes. The ABV does show up a little bit on the taste if I want to criticize and split hairs. But even with that, it's got all the characteristics of a great rye. But even at that, it's got all the characteristics of a great rye. Yeah, I love that floralness you get from the rye itself and that spicy undertones from that grain itself. A little green grassy on the taste for me right now as well. But overall, approachable if you're in the mood for rye. Alrighty, let's go for taste on the 12-year version. Yeah, and the taste mimics the nose pretty closely. It is more refined. It's a little darker, a little richer. You're still getting the herbal, the medicinal, the spicy elements. You're not getting quite as much of that green grassy that I was getting over here in the 10-year version. And it coats the palate just a little bit more. It's got a little more cling to it. And again, the taste for me comes across with a bit of that kind of rum cask finish influence. It's like a sweeter kind of vanilla sweet going on with a little bit of spiciness in there. Cloves are showing up. Like, that is just a phenomenal sip. I'm just shocked what 2 years does on the taste. And the funny thing, again, this is not a bad sip, but that 2 years additional on there refines things beautifully. I love how it coats the palate. The sweet elements are what this one brings more to the table. Not only the more rich notes, but the sweeter notes. Here, you're just missing out on that bit of sweetness that I was loving over here. Yeah, going back to it, it's got a little bitterness in there. It's like it's getting close to getting sweeter characteristics like the 12-year version, but kind of just doesn't get there all the way. That is a beautiful example of a 12-year-old rye whiskey. This is darn good too. So let's wrap things up here and pick a winner. Well, I think you can kind of guess where I'm pointing at right now. To be honest, normal pricing on these is like mid 50s. I think I paid 56 on this, and I paid like 46 on this. If you see both of these on the shelf with a $10 price difference, grab the 12. The 12 is worth that extra $10 any day of the week. Probably closer to the $65 price range if I really wanted it. And to be honest though, again, this is a great example of their rye coming from Indiana. Now, no complaints on sourcing. They're transparent on that. But that extra 2 years just brings across more sweet characteristics. At the end of the day, doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. So again, for me, the 12-year-old version wins it, not only based upon the price per age statement, but the flavors of that darker, rich oakiness going on, the spiciness, and that sweet characteristic just wins my heart every time I take a sip. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Bulleit Rye 10-year versus Bulleit Rye 12-year. If you have any questions about either of these bottles, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific bottles I should put up against each other, also let me know down in the comment section below. I love doing these A/B comparisons. It helps me learn, it helps you learn, and hopefully make a smart decision with your wallet. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I really like it might